thing called the crystal ball where they project where people are going, and all of them had him going to Ole Miss because I had looked him up. And I said, if you really are thinking about Ole Miss, if you were ever going to go this weekend when game day is going to be in town, go to the Grove. It's a monstrous game, 2 top 10 teams. I said, I've been a few times when Ole Miss isn't good, and I had a blast. I said, you will not regret it.
Great atmosphere.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was just neat to talk to him, and I know it's a little bit out of this area, but you know what?
Still, that's a neat story. And look, you just never know who you're going to meet when you get on a plane or you're traveling like that. And that just tells you about high school. And we're going to talk a little high school here in this segment, Luke, because I know you've had, like you said, 2 great guests to start this show. And, that gives everybody throughout the state of Alabama that watches our program a chance to listen and meet these guys. And we want to hear from you out there, 1-800-782-0108, 256-234-6464. Great stories throughout the state. I want to start in 7A this past week as Prattville, I know the week before, had a tough time with Phoenix City. Well, Phoenix City's the real deal.
Yes.
I can't remember the last time Prattville put 52 on Carver. Beat them 52-20. I think that's a great place to start right now. Hey, look, I'm tipping my hat to Coach Anderson down in Prattville. He is doing a tremendous job. He's got that program turned back around. They're going to be a force in the playoffs in 7A.
I totally agree, and I told you I was a little worried about this Carver squad when I saw him in the Champions Challenge. There seems to be something missing, a little bit of a disconnect. Athletes all over the field, but it's just not coming together. And Prattville took advantage of that. Pratteville's,
sure
you know what? A mark of a good team is to lose a game like they lost against Central Phoenix City, where there was so much on the line. Seemingly, coach, your old coach coming back, and such a big deal. All this hype. You could have easily had a letdown game against a very good Carver team, full of athletes, as I said. And instead, what you do is go out there and take care of business. And I think that's the mark of a good coach and the mark of a good team.
I do too. Let's talk about some more of these scores right here. As one that it's of note to me, and I thought Gadsden City was really starting to make their mark is the team in the north for 7A. They fall to a great Hewitt, a team that is on a roll right now. Hewitt-Trussville got beat by Vestavia. I believe it was 14-3 or 13-3 earlier this year. And since then, Luke, they have been – and Vestavia is struggling right now. Vestavia has gone the other way. Hewitt-Trussville has ripped off a Spain Park 4-overtime win, and now a win right after that against a Gadsden City team. I heard you on the scoreboard show with JJ last week, said, you were concerned about Hewitt-Trussville after that long overtime or the lengthy game to come back and have to play an opponent like Gadsden City. Hey, man, they were up to the test.
And I think I don't want to take anything away from Hewitt-Trussville, but just like we talked about with Prattville and the possibility of their having a letdown after losing a game against Central Phoenix City, I think the same thing could be said about Gadsden City, because they had just beaten Bob Jones the week before and knocked them out of the #1 spot, and maybe they were still a little euphoric after that particular matchup, because I don't think that was the real Gadsden City. Props to Hewitt-Trussville, no doubt about it. You took care of business. At the same time, I don't think that was the Gadsden City we'll see going into the playoffs.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I still like this Gadsden City team, but this Hewitt-Trussville team right now has found some magic. Let's bounce up into 6A. In 6A, we've talked about it throughout the year. Probably the toughest division, top to bottom. A lot of great teams in there. Southside Gadsden got a big win, 49-14 over St. Clair, but we'll move on up. Saraland, 49-14 winners over an outstanding Thomasville team. Now, I know Thomasville is 5A, but my goodness, that is a huge win there. Oxford beats Vestavia, 35-14. Oxford plays Benjamin Russell this week. Benjamin Russell is 5-1 on the season with one lone loss to Opelika. Opelika falls to Phoenix City 28-21. That was a top-rated 6A team versus a top-rated 7A team. I'm going to tell you something right now. Opelika, I wouldn't be surprised for them to be in it at the end in 6A, obviously Phoenix City, but Oxford and Benjamin Russell setting up to be a huge game this week.
Yeah, it is, and I've been saying on the scoreboard show this entire time. And first of all, I need to put this mea culpa out there that I apologize on the scoreboard show. I kept touting Shades Valley versus Clay Chalkville coming up this week. Well, I had misread the schedule. It's actually next week. So it's just another week of buildup as far as I'm concerned. I apologize for that. But I'm going to say this, that I think there are 4 teams in 6A that can win it all. I think Opelika, Shades Valley, Clay Chalkville, and possibly Spanish Fort. But, Spanish Fort has lost their quarterback, and that's huge. Tyler Johnson's a big part of that program right now. Now, Spanish Fort is so big.
Part of everybody's program.
Spanish Fort is so big, maybe they can overcome it. But, Saraland, it's not very fortuitous of them to have to have played Spanish Fort already. If they could have played them, that could have really changed things.
Yeah, but, the thing is now, if they stay healthy, Tyler Johnston is a tremendous player. It's going to definitely hurt Spanish Fort. They are talented. They got a great coach. I don't expect them to fall off the map. No. But they will hurt because, you just don't replace guys like that. And, we'll see how that all plays out. Another score, Florence. Ever since Bob Jones was number 1, they can't win. I know you said heavy as a crown. Well, they lost to 6A Florence 36-28.
Yeah, and Florence is getting a lot better, too.
Yes,
Jamie Dubose didn't leave that cupboard bare.
5A, I'm going to mention a score. Dayville is a 4A team. Tallahassee a 5A. Dayville beats Tallahassee 14-11. They had a goal line stand earlier in the game to hold Brandon Baines to 130 yards. I know you may say, hold him to 130 yards. This kid's been averaging 271 yards a game rushing. He was 4th in the country in total rushing yards at 1,357. Dayville's defense has shown up to every game this year. They've lost a couple of games because of the inability to score. Didn't score a lot of points here against Tallahassee, but found a way to get it done.
Well, and I think you said it best. They're finding a way to win until their offense can catch up. And, you can just feel at Dadeville right now the defense has got to feel like the offense is way back there and they have a rope just pulling them. But eventually that offense and those athletes at Dadeville are going to catch up to some degree. And the defense hadn't let go of the rope yet. I don't mean to go all Dennis Franchione on you, but they hadn't let go of the rope yet, which is a positive thing. So this thing may turn around for the Tigers.
One more team that I want to talk about here, and our thoughts and prayers go to the school, the team, the family of the young man that passed away from Charles Henderson. Charles Henderson won the game 38-21, but that is completely irrelevant. Don't know what the full deal is. It was a brain aneurysm, and a hit obviously triggered that is what they're thinking, but don't know if there was obviously a pre-existing condition there, Luke. It's a freak thing. It's an unfortunate thing for that young man. He was a 2-year starter for them in the secondary. There's nothing that we can say up here that can make that easier.
No, there's not, and I've seen other reports that say this could have been something that could have happened to him walking to class.
That's exactly right.
It's unfortunate and very sad, and our condolences go out to the family and the school.
If you got a score or a game coming up this week that you'd like for us to talk about, we'd love to hear from you. 1-800-782-0108, 256-234-6464 to be part of the program. I know we don't run down every score, but we would love to hear from you if you got something you'd like for us to talk about.
Let me tell you one that would be interesting, at least to our area here in Alexander City. That's the Chelsea-Opelika game.
Oh, I saw it.
Chelsea's playing a lot better. They look pretty doggone good this year, and they're going to be playing some Bulldogs this year, this week.
A very good Bulldog team.
Opelika's going to be a little bit upset, because I think that they thought they could win that game against Central Phoenix City, and they had a good shot at it.
They did.
But in my opinion, nobody's listening to me, but Central Phoenix City is the best team in 7A, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you're right. I definitely have to side with you on that. One more score I want to do for this area because it is Jackie O'Neill's last season at Reeltown, and most of you out there have heard of Jackie O'Neill. He's coached the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star team before for Alabama. He's won a couple of state championships at Reeltown. He's one of the winningest coaches in the state of Alabama. This is his last year. Boy, he has Reeltown rocking and rolling on his way out the door. 48-30 winners over a 4A team in Elmore County. So let me tell you something. Reeltown, I was there Friday. During the day, I saw half their football team. They are loaded with athletes. I mean, you walk in, and sometimes they just jump out at you. Reeltown has the horses to win this thing and move forward.
Yeah, you better pack a lunch if you're going to take on the Reeltown Rebels.
They just hit you in the mouth and keep on coming. That's going to wrap up the high school segment, but again, we will go back and talk about high school football. If you would like something that we did not talk about, a score that we did not talk about, we will bring that up and be glad to have you right here on this show. But we're going to take a break. When we come back, man, so much to talk about in the world of college football. The big boy football starts this weekend, Luke. Everything, I know there's been some big games and all, but this week for everybody moving forward, it gets tough.
Even if the games in the SEC weren't happening, and this is the first time in college football history that 6 teams from the same division are all ranked and all playing each other, and they're all in the top 15. And even if those games weren't happening, you've got other games that have so much intrigue, it's incredible to deny them. I mean, you've got Ohio State taking on Maryland, and that's a huge game. I mean, people don't understand. That's a big game. Texas and Baylor. I mean, is Texas going to get
running their mouth?
Is Texas going to get embarrassed, by Baylor again? Is Baylor going to step up and just blow their doors off? You've got Michigan State and Nebraska. I mean, that's Nebraska. If they go in there and take care of business behind Amir Abdullah, a Homewood graduate.
They're ahead.
I mean,
they got the lead.
They can cruise into this thing.
They do. We'll talk about the player from Texas. Said, his quote before we go to break, he said, at the end of the day, they're still Baylor and we're still Texas. Well, he said, I don't care how good they've been the last few years.
He may be right, unfortunately for him.
I think you're right.
But wait a minute. Here's the thing. Charlie, he better check his locker, too, because
he may not be there.
Charlie Strong's been dismissing people left and right for jaywalking.
I think he got that from Tony Barbie. 1-800-782-0108, 256-234-6464. More to come here on Sportz Blitz Live, presented by JR's and SNS Discount Tire right after this.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
Over the years, SNS Tire has grown into the Lake Martin area's largest volume tire dealer. SNS Tire offers the industry's best brand names: Michelin, Goodyear, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Firestone, and much, much more. The tire pros at SNS offer professional installation and the region's best price. In addition to your tire needs, SNS offers full automotive mechanical work for all your vehicle maintenance and repair needs with the area's most experienced staff. Visit either of our 2 locations on Cherokee Road in Alex City or at South Street in Dadeville. At SNS Tire, we're installing peace of mind for every customer we serve. Every job, every day.
Sperlin Recycling is an Alabama-based recycling company specializing in the recycling of metal, aluminum, copper, ferrous, and non-ferrous waste. Sperlin Recycling is available for all your commercial recycling needs, including demolition, on-site scrap removal, and roll-off services. Sperlin Recycling is a family-owned corporation with several generations of experience. Call us today at 256-234-0903 and visit us online at www.sperlinrecycling.com.
Arctic Air and Heat, located in Jackson Gap on Highway 280. Mr. Darryl Kazai invites you to call him. Now, folks, the cold weather's coming. That's a fact. Now, he is your rain dealer. That's RHEEM. His number is 256-794-4341. That's Darryl Kazai. Ask him about central heating and air. Central heating and air. That's 256-794-4341. Kazaya. Darryl Kazaya.
At Brown Nursing Home, you'll find quality care and comfortable living. We take great pride in our rehabilitation services, including short-term rehabilitation. We offer speech, occupational, and physical therapy, as well as skilled nursing care. Brown is located on Washington Street in Alexander City. For more information, contact Cecily Lee, the administrator, at 256-329-9061.
Hello, I'm State Farm Agent Karen Chanel. I specialize in helping families and individuals like yourself in the Alexander City and Lake Martin communities. With over 20 years experience with State Farm and a dynamic team of licensed professionals, I am committed to helping you manage the risk of everyday life. And we not only consider it an honor, but a privilege to assist you in meeting your insurance and financial services needs. I sincerely look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
This segment of Sportz Blitz is brought to you by Sperlin Recycling. For all your commercial recycling or demolition needs, call them today at 256-234-0903 or visit them online at www.sperlinrecycling.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sportz Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and SNS Discount Tire. Brett Pritchard, Luke Robinson here with you for about another hour tonight. We'd love to hear from you. 1-800-782-0108, 256-234-6464. Our prediction score is Alabama Ole Miss this weekend. And, look, Ole Miss better show up and do something more than they did this past week, because it's not. And, look, I don't care what kind of spin anybody puts on it, what anybody says. They didn't look good at all against a much maligned Memphis team. I mean, their defense is okay, but Memphis, I mean, Ole Miss couldn't move the ball, and I've never been sold on Bo Wallace, Luke. He continues to be a bust. And, look, here is your grand opportunity, Ole Miss, if you want to step up and get some respect. And to me, I just think it's night and day away from the two teams.
Well, as an Alabama fan, I can tell you we do have Steven Garcia nightmares from South Carolina.
Yeah,
He
show
was
up one
Bo
time,
Wallace
yeah.
before there was Bo Wallace. And it could happen. It definitely could happen. CBS was there for that game too. So it definitely could, and I believe Game Day was there as well. So this could be one of those moments. Now, having said that, South Carolina has a bit of a better coach than Ole Miss does. So that could be playing a factor. And look, bottom line, Alabama's beaten them 10 times in a row. Ole Miss certainly ran their yap a lot before the game last year. Bo Wallace talking about they can score all we want.
Last year.
They scored 0 points. And outside that first drive, really, I don't think they were much of a threat after that. But this is a good Ole Miss team. I think on the hoof, if you just look at the guys out there on defense, I may pick their defense over Alabama's defense in terms of pure talent. I may pick their defense over anybody in the country. They've got guys. On Talking Tuscaloosa on the podcast, we had a scout from the San Francisco 49ers on that's actually been on this program, Kyle Odell, and he talked about some of the guys. He said, look, Robert Kimdichie hadn't maybe put up the stats everybody thought he would. He said, but as far as an NFL scout goes, we absolutely love the guy, and we think, once he gets in the league, he's going to be fabulous. Tony Connor back in the backfield, he's crazy good. So and Pruitt, their leader in the secondary, who's a safety, he's always making big time interceptions. And they have a kid named Golson who is leading the SEC in interceptions. So look, they're going to give Alabama a big test. And here's another thing that scares me as an Alabama fan: the line comes out at Alabama only a 4-point favorite, which is the lowest spread for an Alabama game.
I don't know why that's
2011.
I was thinking 13.
Well, it's gone up to 6.5.
Well, I was thinking 13 when it came out, and I don't know. I might be missing something there.
Well, I know. Here's what I was scared of: that somebody knew something about Blake Sims, the rest of us didn't know. And that was my first fear. But
what is it? I mean, it's this probable and all this. Is he healthy?
Yeah, he's fine. In fact,
what is the deal?
He has a bruised AC joint, is my understanding, bruised in his shoulder.
Yeah.
So, it's one of those things where it hurts. And Alabama probably needed the off week. Could he have played last Saturday? I'm told he probably could have, depending on who the opponent was.
Well, and the road only gets tougher. You're only going to get hit harder. It just doesn't get any easier for anybody from this point on. Everybody, you talked about CBS being there for Auburn. ESPN's coming to town. The only thing that's happened with ESPN the last 2 weeks is the top team has been upset.
Right.
Georgia by South Carolina, and then this past week Missouri over South Carolina. So the Auburn faithful is probably cringing to see that happen because LSU comes to town. But this is a game, Luke, that Auburn circled. Everybody else circled Auburn this year on their calendar. Well, Auburn circled LSU on their calendar because they were the lone loss in the regular season. They got off to a terrible start. They ended the game very well, and to me, that game propelled them to go on and do what they did last year. Well, they'll have it circled. There's no doubt, and probably should have been starting him from day one. The freshman,
Brandon Harris.
Brandon Harris, who Auburn was in on. It was down to Clemson, down to LSU and Auburn, and he chooses to go to LSU. He's very talented. He's got a couple games under his belt now. He'll be a different quarterback, but this is his first road test in a hostile environment at night at Auburn. It'll be interesting to see. Auburn, offensively, don't know if they're vanilla, don't know if they're stubborn, don't know what's going on. You'll find out in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Well, couple of things. First of all, what I've been saying about LSU is they're young, and that's going to be the worst thing and the best thing for them. So it's the worst thing in the sense that they think that they can just roll over Mississippi State because they come into town. Well, Mississippi State's probably starting 22 just as good as LSU.
Oh, no doubt.
Now, depth-wise, they're not, and they definitely have more experience, does Mississippi State. But now they go to Auburn, and you would think this is so awful. It is his first road game, and that could be true. The same token, he may be too young to know what exactly is happening.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I'll say this about Auburn. I think Auburn fans in general, and I can speak from experience as an Alabama fan who thought after 2009 we'd just roll over everybody turn over and play dead. When you have a good season and everything goes the way it went for Auburn, look, people study you over the summer. I mean, Gus Malzahn's still smart. He's still a genius. At the same time, everybody else is getting better to stop you now. And people are better. I mean, Auburn's not as good a team as they were last year. Can they get there? It may happen. The chemistry may come together. Could happen. But you don't go from losing Greg Robinson, who was number 2 pick in the draft, and you don't go from losing a running back like Trey Mason and just think you can put in Cameron Artis-Payne and be the same guy. The stats, I heard Randy say, well, the stats are pretty close to the same on Sports Call today, and that's the case. But they don't, I mean, you can look out there and say that running back is not that running back. I mean, that's very easy to see the difference.
I was a little shocked that Auburn came out at 8.5 point favorite, 7.5 now, but still sticking around that 7.5, 8 point favorite.
See, I was shocked the other way because I at first I felt like you that with all this youth and look, Leonard Fournette really hadn't taken off yet.
But he's good.
But he's good. You know, this could be their breakout game. I mean, that's what. Look, unless Miles is nuts, you don't know what's going on over there.
No, you don't. No, it depends on what flavor grass we have over there. Let's go back to the phone lines. Brian. Nope, we don't have Brian. Didn't want to hold anymore. So Brian, give us a call back. 1-800-782-0108. 256-234-6464. Again, I don't remember Auburn being favored over LSU. Well, Auburn hasn't been favored over LSU very much in the last 10 to 15 years, but to be 7.5 point favorites kind of tells you a little bit about where the programs are right now. And I think Auburn is Auburn may have a come-out game. You know, they may come out of the dormant stage offensively and put 40 points on the board and start running the football. But I think Auburn's going to have to be a little bit more balanced than they were last year. Can't be stubborn and just try to run it up the gut because I think teams are going to take that away. But Auburn's got plenty of receivers and they've got the weapons to get it done on the outside.
As always, this is an incredibly intriguing game. I mean, you can go back to the barn fire, and you can go back to the earthquake game. Yep. I mean, there's so many things about Auburn.
Interceptions.
That interception game was crazy. I remember exactly where it was. But this game, you're right, is could be a breakout game for either one of them. This game is so odd. I mean, it wouldn't shock me at all. And remember, last year, while LSU seems to have some problems on defense up the middle right now, which you think plays right into Auburn's hand, and it should. John Chavis shut out Gus Malzahn for the first half last year. Shut him out completely. Yeah. So, I mean, you got to give him credit.
And so did the Hurricane.
So, yeah.
So did the Hurricane. Brian, are you back with us?
Yeah.
Well, good. Thank you for not hanging up on us this time.
Go ahead, buddy.
Go ahead, Brian. You there?
I guess not.
Brian, you with us? Can't get Brian, so we lost Brian there. So try us again, Brian. We'll get maybe the third time will be the charm. 1-800-782-0108. 256-234-6464. Is that him again? All right. Okay, Brian, the trick's over. Quit hanging up on us.
Good.
Alabama 38, Ole Miss 17.
There you go.
Thank you, Brian.
Brian, we appreciate it, buddy.
Coach, you've been covering more kind of this week football.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And a man of a few words, but a lot in those few words.
A lot of substance.
A lot of substance. We're going to take a break here when we come back. Do we have Andy up next, Justin? Yes, I get a thumbs up. Andy Graham with the Auburn Blitz segment of the show. Coming up next, stay tuned. More Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR's and S&S Discount Tire right after this.
So, you may not know it, but you've seen our work everywhere. For a combined 50 years, SignSource has been Central Alabama's premier option for all your sign needs. Custom signs for your business, club, or organization. Wraps and decals for your vehicle or boat. Full-color banners for your big sale, or a photo collage on canvas for grandma. All with fast, friendly, prompt service. Check out our website at signsourcenow.com. 888-533-6758. Go straight to the source. SignSource.
When you're on Lake Martin and looking for your own boat, it pays to know what the locals know. Alex City Marine in Alex City and the all-new Alex City Marine South on Highway 63 across from the Mini Mall is Lake Martin's premier Landau pontoon boat dealer and the area's authorized Suzuki, Honda, and Mercury outboard dealer. Alex City Marine has the industry's best brands, and they back it up with the industry's best boat repair with marine-certified specialists that get it done right. Whether summerization or a full overhaul, Alex City Marine has you covered on both ends of the lake. Know what the locals know. Alex City Marine, Lake Martin's complete sales and service center with 2 locations to serve you.
When it comes to providing the very finest in funeral services, there's one name that stands alone. At Radney's Funeral Home, we take pride in our reputation as one of the leading funeral homes in this part of Alabama. Since 1938, our name has stood for honesty, integrity, and quality. These are the principles that have made Radney's Funeral Home the #1 choice when you want the very finest in funeral service for your family. Radney's Funeral Home, the independent hometown funeral home serving Tallapoosa and surrounding counties.
If you've been seriously injured in a car wreck or a truck wreck, don't let the insurance company knock you out without taking responsibility for your medical expenses, pain and suffering, and car repair. You need a fighter. I'm a former Golden Glove champion, and I will fight for you to get the money you deserve. Call Tripp and put a fighter in your corner.
Call the Walton Law Firm at 334-321-3000 or toll free at 866-321-3330. Put a fighter in your corner.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be provided is greater than that of other attorneys.
River Region Sports Fields is a full-service athletic field company servicing the state of Alabama and the Southeast, specializing in construction, laser grading, aerification, top dressing, irrigation, and field drainage of athletic fields of any kind. River Region Sports Fields can manage the entire process of making the perfect athletic field for you. River Region Sports Fields. Give us a call, 205-617-4884, riverregionsportsfields.com.
Tailgating and an award-winning vehicle from Bice Motors in Alex City. You can't beat this time of year.
Buy that buy. Buy that buy. Hop.
Everybody wins during the Jeep Celebration event going on now at Bice Motors in Alex City.
Tailgate party savings.
High pressure, decline.
Guaranteed lowest price. I won't pay you the difference in price twice.
Roll Tide. War Eagle. Go Wildcats!
BiceChryslerDodge.com.
Auburn Blitz, brought to you by Dane Sharp, attorney at law, helping injured people get the full benefit of their case. Call Dane today at 256-825-4631.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and S&S Discount Tire right here in Alexander City, Alabama. At this time, we want to go to the Dane Sharp attorney at law hotline for the Auburn Blitz segment of our show, and our very own Andy Graham, our Auburn correspondent, on the line with us. Andy, thanks for joining us.
It's always my pleasure to be here.
And the Dane Sharp, attorney at law, Auburn Blitz, too. So give Dane Sharp a call, 256-825-4631 for all your legal needs. Andy, I just remembered today, or just thought back for a second today, knowing me and you would be doing this segment again tonight, and I remember just a few years ago how just it was almost like somebody with pliers pulling your toenails off to do the Auburn Blitz. And so when you go in here and you start thinking about how Auburn didn't play that well and they only won 40-something to 20-something, I can easily revert back to the days where me and you thought, maybe we'll turn the corner next week. Maybe we'll turn the corner next week. So it's good to be where we are now.
Yeah, there's no question about that. You go back to those 2011, 2012, it was like getting beaten with a bag of oranges every week. It was rough, and then coming on here on Tuesday nights trying to find some silver lining, in a pool of mud, it was difficult to do. like you said, I said this in my column this week in the paper. I let high expectations take the joy out of a win against San Jose State, and I didn't do that Saturday. Auburn didn't play as well as I thought they should have. I was hoping they would come out of the locker room extremely mad and play like that and just jump on La Tech, and the game would be in hand at halftime. And while we were up 24-3, they came out of the gate first quarter, and it was just they could not convert on third down. They found themselves in a lot of second and longs, third and longs, and this offense is not conducive to that kind of scenario. So, but in the end, like you say, the game 45-17. They put up 473 yards of offense. They held Louisiana Tech to about 320. So overall, in the grand scheme of things, Auburn did what they were supposed to do. It's just that going by last year's expectations and last year's standards, it was a subpar performance, much like last week against Kansas State. But Auburn is still playing like they probably should play. There's just some things are not clicking on all cylinders yet. And to be quite honest, the offense didn't get into high gear until about mid-season last year, and it certainly didn't go into overdrive until toward the end of the season. So still time to try to get better and try to get everybody on the same page, although it's much more difficult from here on out. The next 4 games will tell the tale whether Auburn's going to playoff team or not, in my opinion. LSU, Mississippi State, South Carolina, and Ole Miss. If Auburn comes out of this stretch 3-1, I think they'll probably be fortunate.
No, I think everybody will agree with you. And as we see some footage from this past weekend for all of our TV viewers out there, Andy, one of the things that I look at is that I just think Auburn fans are a little concerned with the ineptness at times of the offense, but the good part of what's going on right now is the defense has really improved. And in the secondary, we got banged up a little bit at the linebacker position, but they played well, I thought. The defensive front, Montravius Adams, continues to play well. I think he's trying to see who's the quicker number one, Duke Williams or himself, as he rumbled down the sideline after that play on defense. But, I do. There's not going to be any doubt after the next 4 games where Auburn stands in the national picture. And that's why I think they've stayed at number 5 in both polls, because everybody's like, well, let's just keep them there because the stretch is about to come and we'll see where they need to be. Other teams have moved up and down. You've seen Florida State fall from the number 1 spot in one of the polls, and Alabama grabbed that. Some other teams have fluctuated, but Auburn has stayed steady at number 5. So the test is now. Don't worry about rankings. Play week to week. If Auburn continues to win every Saturday, then good things will end up happening at the end of the year.
Yeah, I would agree 100% about the defense. The last 3 years, Auburn has given up record amounts of yards and given up points at an alarming pace. This year, they have been able to contain everybody that they played pretty effectively. They're still giving up big plays, too many trash plays, and certainly they can work on that and even get better as the season moves along. Like you said, you worry about Chris Frost and Casanova McKenzie, their health. Obviously, both went out in this game. I talked to Jason Caldwell today. He said that he thought that the one that would probably the most likely to be 100% would be Casanova McKenzie. Just the mild concussion. Apparently, he's doing very well after that. I think Chris Frost is day-to-day as well as Patrick Miller, but I wouldn't be surprised to see all 3 of those guys play. I feel a little more comfortable as far as the offensive line is concerned, moving Avery Young out to tackle, moving Chad Slade back to his normal position at right guard, and inserting Devontae Dancy at left guard. But I think Chris Frost would be an enormous loss if he can't play. I like Trey Williams and Anthony Swain. I think both of those have done an admirable job as a backup, but Chris Frost is having a great year, and I would hate to see him not be on the field Saturday, because Auburn will need their full complement of defensive players. LSU has not certainly looked like gangbusters this year, but you bring in a dual-threat quarterback. He has got a tremendous amount of talent. LSU's got great receivers, and they've got a very powerful running game, although they haven't been able to really get it going against good teams this year. So Auburn's defense has stepped up this year. They're going to need to continue to step up because the offense has struggled to some degree. So, that's a good thing to have. In years past, that wasn't the case, and Auburn could not afford not to score nearly about every play because the defense the case this year.
Andy would be remiss without talking about Quan Bray. He broke out this past weekend. Special teams player of the week, returned a punt, just had a 2 touchdown catches. Just had a tremendous afternoon against La Tech. This is the Quan Bray that everybody had been hearing about coming out of high school, and a dynamic player that really hasn't come of his own until this past Saturday. I mean, he's had flashes of being good, but he really turned the corner Saturday.
Yeah, I thought, as a true freshman, he showed really flashes that he could be this kind of player, and it just never really materialized. It always seemed like something would always come up. He could never really take that next step for whatever reason. He's a kid that you root for. Obviously, he had a tremendous tragedy right when he got to Auburn, losing his mother. But he is a guy that is a great kid. You never hear about him being in trouble. He has stepped up this year. You've seen a glimpse. Now you've seen what he can do, not only as a special teams guy, but as a receiver. He is a playmaker in space if Auburn can get him the ball. He just adds another weapon to that arsenal of Duke Williams, Sammy Coates, now Quan Bray, as well as C.J. Uzama. Auburn very much too talented in the receiving corps not to be able to for it to be a factor moving forward, especially as you use that receiving corps on first down. You use them to loosen up the defense enough a little bit moving forward, and that just all that will do was help the running game moving forward. You talk about last year, everybody, including myself, was so worried we're losing Chris Davis. He was such a dynamic punt returner. Never thought that we would be able to replace him the way that we have, but Quan Bray has stepped up, already taken 2 punts back to the house, and it's still pretty early. So he just looks so much more confident back there, catching the ball and knowing where he wants to go after he catches it. And I think that's probably one of the biggest things about punt return. You have to be able to make a decision very quickly and just go for it. If you dance back there, you really end up going nowhere. And he really has done a tremendous job this year of being focused, knowing what he wants to do when he catches the ball.
Yeah, I think you're right. Back there, the vision is key as a return guy, and you got to make your mind up. A snap judgment. Sometimes you go nowhere, sometimes you bust it, and that's what he did Saturday. Andy, as always, great to have you on. You and Randy back on Sports Call tomorrow. Then all 3 of us on Thursday, and then you and I from Finks in Auburn on Friday. So looking forward to a big week as we lead up to LSU.
I haven't been to Finks in about 15 years, so that ought to be an interesting reunion, but looking forward to it.
Sounds great, Andy. We'll talk to you soon.
Take it easy.
All right, my man. That's Andy Graham with Sports Call and Sportz Blitz. We're up against a break. When we come back, Luke Robinson will be back with the Bama Blitz segment of our show. Stay tuned. More Sports Blitz Live presented by JR's and SNS Tire right after this.
Bradbury Medical Equipment serves the Lake Martin area's needs with durable medical equipment and respiratory care. Bradbury Medical Equipment is home-owned and operated, providing skilled, qualified, and professional people to set up and deliver all of their equipment. Bradbury Medical Equipment provides 24-hour service and will file all insurance claims, making claims trouble-free. Located on Airport Drive in Alexander City, Bradbury Medical Equipment, a history of neighborly care. Call them today at 256-215-8654.
JR's Catering is your premier choice for catering for any occasion in the Lake Martin area. Their quality food service can cater any event from banquets, family celebrations, charity events, political gatherings, as well as corporate catering. For delicious food of any kind and great service, call on JR's Catering today at 256-329-2328.
Hello, I'm Russell Building Supply.
And I'm the big box store.
Box, I don't mean to cut you short, but I've got a delivery to make.
A delivery?
Yeah, Russell delivers anywhere in the local area for free, usually on the same day, and that's on top of our low price guarantee.
Really? Free? Are you kidding me?
No, and if you prefer to pick the order up yourself, we'll load it for free.
And on the same day?
Yeah, we're really good at working on short lead times. How about you?
Yeah, I'm short.
Serving Lake Martin and Central Alabama.
Over the years, S&S Tires grown into the Lake Martin area's largest volume tire dealer. S&S Tire offers the industry's best brand names: Michelin, Goodyear, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Firestone, and much, much more. The tire pros at S&S offer professional installation and the region's best price. In addition to your tire needs, S&S offers full automotive mechanical work for all your vehicle maintenance and repair needs with the area's most experienced staff. Visit either of our 2 locations on Cherokee Road in Alex City or at South Street in Dadeville. At S&S Tire, we're installing peace of mind for every customer we serve. Every job, every day.
In this moment, you want a team that stands behind you so you can perform your best. At Auto Owners Insurance, it's how we do business every day. Because along with our independent agents, no one works harder to keep you in the game. Auto Owners Insurance.
Call Dark Insurance today, 256-234-5026.
Lila's Engraving, celebrating 20 years of business in Alexander City, is proud to supply the Lake Martin area with all of its trophies, plaques, name tags, and any other engraving needs. Lila's also specializes in custom framing of any size picture or portrait. Lila's Engraving has been and continues to be a proud sponsor of Lake Martin area athletics. So go by and see or call Lila's Engraving at 256-234-6004.
Bama Blitz, brought to you by Bradbury Medical Center, offering durable medical equipment, including wheelchairs, oxygen, hospital beds, and more. 256-215-8654.
Welcome back into Sportz Blitz Live. Luke Robinson with the Bradbury Medical Center Alabama Blitz. We're going to do a different spin this time. Usually I talk all things Alabama here, obviously, in the Bradbury Medical Center Alabama Blitz. Instead, I want to talk to an Ole Miss correspondent because we got such a big game coming up. Brandy Ratliff from fanrags.com. Brandy, how's it going?
It's going good. I'm excited. Big game this week.
Have you? What's the campus atmosphere like right this minute? I know you have your finger on the pulse of all things Ole Miss.
You know what? It's crazy. It's busy. There's an excitement there. You know, there's always an excitement on game day. And there's always excitement when Alabama comes. And Alabama hasn't been at our home in 2 years. So we're already excited for that. But putting that game day atmosphere there, it just adds a kind of a different level, you know?
Oh, sure. I mean, look, game day coming to your campus can really change things. I remember it's not as quite a big a deal as it used to be, I would say, back when I was in school many, many moons ago. But now, coming to Ole Miss for the first time, first of all, that statistic blows my mind that they've never been to the Grove before. That's wild to me.
Yeah, I mean, how can you not experience the Grove? Ole Miss is known for having the most beautiful women in the nation, and I can attest, I went to Ole Miss, and I can attest to the fact that it is true. There are some pretty girls at Ole Miss. The campus itself is beautiful. The atmosphere, the hospitality, Ole Miss fans will go out of their way to make you feel like you are part of the team. We want you there. We're excited to have whoever comes.
Well, the reason for game day's appearance is because there's a pretty special game coming up. You've got Alabama ranked at number 3, number 1 in one poll, and Ole Miss, they get edged out of the top 10, moved back to number 11. Still, monstrous game in the SEC West and a weekend full of monster games. What are your thoughts on it, and how does Ole Miss win this ball game?
Okay, here's the thing. Okay, we know the old saying, offense sells tickets, defense wins championships. Hey, look, as an Alabama fan, you know that better than anybody because Alabama's been praising that tune for a long time. Ole Miss has got the number one defense in the SEC, fourth in the nation. You've got D.T. Shackelford, the D.T. brothers out there. I mean, we're just really good on defense right now. And I think Freeze even said that game against Memphis was one of the best defensive games he's seen. So defensively, I think we're going to give Alabama a lot of problems. I think that Sims is amazing. And that's the flip side of it. Alabama has the best offense. So you're looking at the number 4 offense in the nation against the number 4 defense in the nation. It really is going to be a special match. It's going to be good. I think it's going to be interesting to see if Ole Miss can hold that offense off. And I think your offense, it'll be nice to see what they can do with our defense, if they can get past us or not.
Well, you've got Sinquez Golson back there in the secondary. He's leading the SEC in interceptions. Tony Connor, I know how good he is. Alabama recruited him as hard as they could. And then you've got Blake Sims on the Alabama side. He's a little bit dinged up. At least it appears that way. Maybe Alabama is playing possum a little bit with the Blake Sims situation and his AC joint. Who knows? But I think you're right. That's going to be interesting. Is Ole Miss going to be able to force Blake Sims into some passes? Quite frankly, he hadn't had to throw. He's had very good passing efficiency these past few games. He had one tipped ball for an interception against Florida, and he had one really bad pass against West Virginia. Otherwise, he hadn't thrown any picks. Speaking of Ole Miss overall, you've got Alabama coming in this weekend. Then you've got Texas A&M the next weekend. You've got Tennessee coming into the Grove after that. I believe at LSU, and then host Auburn. Have you ever seen Ole Miss have a gauntlet of games like this all in a row?
When you get into SEC play, you never know what you're up against. You could have the toughest team or the toughest schedule in the nation going in, and then a bunch of teams fall flat and your schedule doesn't look as hard. Or you can come in thinking, I think we can handle this, and then you've got teams like Arkansas who all of a sudden step it up a whole bunch. And it changes the game a little bit. You have some teams you think, okay, that'll be a win or that'll be something we can handle. And then they get better and they get better. Auburn last year comes in, surprises the SEC. I don't think anybody was expecting Auburn to come in that tough. Missouri. Kentucky this year, we don't have Kentucky on our schedule, but Kentucky coming in strong this year. So with the SEC, you just never know. We are stacked on games that we're going to be facing, and it's going to be a tough challenge for us the month of October. But that's going to be October in SEC country every year. That's when your battles start, and that is when it gets fun.
Lastly, what is Ole Miss's fans' relationship with Bo Wallace? Are they embracing him? Are they still a little skittish when it comes to Bo Wallace? You don't know what you're going to get each and every week. It seems like he's always got a surprise for you. When you think he's turned the corner, he takes 2 steps back. When you think that it may look like he's going to be replaced, he has a monster game. What are your thoughts?
Okay, I can't speak for the whole fan base, but I can tell you from those that I'm around and those that I surround myself with, we love Bo Wallace. What we like about Bo Wallace is when he's good, he's great. He's good in the pocket. We've got a nice O-line out there with Larry Tunzel out there. I mean, he really is good. I hear what you're saying because I hear it a lot. There's inconsistencies there that come up from time to time. But Bo knows Freeze's game plan on offense better than anyone. And if he gets out there and executes it well, I think it's going to be a great game.
Well, Brandy, we hope it will be a great game. And I know you have a pretty strong contingent following on Twitter. And why don't you tell everybody your handle?
It is Southern Girl Rebel, and of course there's going to be a few letters left out of that. It's SOUTHRNGRLREBEL.
And I can tell you from experience, I've been following Brandy on Twitter for over a year now. She's absolutely hilarious. She has at least 10 tweets a day. It seems that way at least. But and they're all good, and they're all funny, and usually very informative. Brandy, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you so much, and hotty toddy.
Yeah, well, I can't go there. I'll give you a small Roll Tide. Look, I'm hoping for a good game. I want to see this one be good. And part of me somewhere deep down wants Ole Miss to have one of those magical type seasons. But the Alabama fan in me won't let me cheer for you.
Oh, you know what? That's okay, and I completely understand. Win or lose this weekend, I can tell you the atmosphere is going to be amazing. The team is going to go out there and play hard. I'm going to leave that stadium proud of what those guys do and what our coaches have accomplished, especially in such a short time from where they picked up coming in.
Well, thank you so much again, Brandy, and we'll have you on again, okay?
All right, thanks a lot.
Thank you. That was Brandy Ratliff with fanrags.com. She does a fabulous job, great writer. Do go follow her on Twitter. She really is funny. Go check her out at Southern Rebel or SouthernGirlRebel.com, however you do it. It was on the screen just a second ago. We'll be back in just a minute with more Sportz Blitz Live.
CTE Small Engines has served East Alabama's lawn and power equipment needs with quality products from Echo, Husqvarna, and Kawasaki. But now, CTE has expanded to serve the entire state with full lines of Titan UTVs. CTE Small Engines is Alabama's exclusive Titan dealer with full lines of the Scoot, Sniper, Explorer, and Recon series, featuring hybrid electric and gas combo with up to an 1100cc power package. See Alabama's exclusive Titan dealer, CTE Small Engines in Opelika next to Tigertown off I-85. Or shop our full inventory at ctesmallengines.com.
I'm attorney Dane Sharp. If you've been injured in an auto accident, don't choose an attorney simply because they have flashy television commercials and tons of billboards. Call a local attorney who can give your case the personal attention it needs and deserves. For over 20 years, I've handled hundreds of auto accidents, and I take pride in the personal service we provide and the results we obtain for our clients. So if you've been injured, give me a call today and put our team to work for you.
Excitement awaits you on beautiful Lake Martin. Alex City Guide Service can provide you with a charter trip of a lifetime. Licensed charter guide David Hare has over 20 years of experience on Lake Martin, specializing in live bait fishing for trophy-sized saltwater striped bass, largemouth bass, and spotted bass. Call Alex City Guide Service today at 256-401-3089 or visit them online at www.alexcityguideservice.com.
Family owned and operated, Holly's Home Furnishings is the Lake Martin area's best choice for all of your furniture needs. Whether you're looking for something new for the living room, dining room, or bedroom, Holly's has something you'll love for every room in your house. Holly's has a great selection of furniture and the most popular names like Lane, Broyhill, Rowe Furniture, as well as the best names in mattresses like Sealy and Tempur-Pedic. You can even get beautiful home decor, everything your home needs, at Holly's Home Furnishings, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City. Visit their website at hollysHomeFurnishings.com.
It's always something. Your car needs a new tire, tuition is due, it's down to the wire. Cheerleading outfits, soccer shoes, football pads, or annual dues. Nellie's in band, she needs a trombone. Good golly Molly, you need a loan. Jimmy broke his arm, he needs a cast. You need money, and you need it fast. When life comes at you, Always Money can help you through. It's easy, convenient, friendly, and fast. You'll get the cash you need the day you need it. So because it's always something, remember Always Money. How much can we loan you today?
At the Medicine Shop, we're dedicated to the idea that quality pharmacy care means more than just prompt prescriptions. When you come to the Medicine Shop Pharmacy, you'll be able to count on dependable care from a knowledgeable pharmacist. The Medicine Shop is the only compounding pharmacy in the area, and we offer the shingles vaccine year-round. Bring your prescriptions by the drive-thru on Airport Drive in Alex City, or input them online at www.medicineshop.com, or call them at 256-215-8014. The Medicine Shop, caring beyond prescriptions.
Welcome back to Sportz Blitz. Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and SNS Discount Tire. Brett Pritchard and Luke Robinson here with you till 9 o'clock, so about 25 more minutes left in tonight's show. Here's your opportunity to give us a call, get your prediction in on Alabama Ole Miss. Derrick Henry rushing yards as a tiebreaker. Hope he gets a few more carries than Jeremy Johnson did pass attempts last week, because Jeremy Johnson's passing yards was our tiebreaker last week against La Tech, and it didn't really ended up.
Please just go to the Player of the Week so we can put this up there, because I want to show people what I'm using for my next hangman word.
All right, well, we go to the sport. I'm going to say the best for last, and we'll start with the HSA Radio Network Player of the Week. Malik Cunningham of Park Crossing, a quarterback, was 15 of 24 in the air, 326 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 65, 75, and 34 yards, a 24-7 win over St. James. He also added 56 yards rushing on 11 carries. Parks Crossing, Luke, a big, nice school down there. They've got a great coach, Smitty Grider. They're going to build a good program, and he's already got a good program in the makings. Their first real year in playing high school football. That's the AHSA Radio Network Player of the Week, brought to you by Russell Do-It Centers and Russell Building Supply. We want to thank Russell Do-It and Russell Building for being our corporate partner, our lead partner with the AHSA Radio Network.
Yeah, really do want to thank them. Thanks for being a part for so many years. I mean, and look, they're the best in the business.
They really are. 10 locations throughout Central Alabama. The Lake Martin Area Player of the Week, brought to you by Lee Marketing Group, is Drew Hill from Horseshoe Bend. The running back had 3 touchdowns in the 30-12 road win at Collinsville. They went on the road against a 3-1 team, Luke. And Drew Hill is a tremendous player for Horseshoe Bend. So congratulations to the Generals and Drew Hill, and been named the Lake Martin Area Player of the Week, LMG. And then now to the word of the maybe one of the toughest last names. I hope I get this right. The Lee County Player of the Week, brought to you by Rudalisa Anderson, Cruise Planners. Call toll-free 844-722-6342 for your next cruise. She'll make sure you get taken care of. The quarterback from Smith Station, Dalton Sinquinfield.
No, I'm going to go Sinkfield. That's what I'm going to go with.
Okay.
Or it could be, but I mean, that's what I'm going with.
Yeah, okay.
Again, I'm telling you, next time I play Hangman,
Sinkfield.
My word's going to be Dalton Sinkfield.
I like yours better. Dalton Sinkfield, the quarterback for Smith Station, completed 16 of 26 through the air for 296 yards and 3 touchdowns. Rushing for another score in Smith Station's 42-14 win over Russell County. Congratulations to Dalton Sinkfield, the Lee County Player of the Week, brought to you by Rudalisa Anderson, Cruise Planners. And Luke, we can't say enough about our Player of the Weeks. Look, if you've got an area of this state that you would like to start sponsoring and like for us to start bringing a Player of the Week from your area, we would love to hear from you. We would love to have you on this program. We would love to give more props to more of these young men and more young women when we get into softball season and some of the other seasons that we have female athletes of the week. So we would love for you to give us a call and be part of the show.
Certainly would. Call anytime. You can call the numbers right there. We'll get you hooked up right now.
We definitely will. Justin will take care of you. And, one thing good about our program, Luke, on Sportz Blitz every Tuesday night, we stress a lot of high school athletes, but we do talk a lot about college, a little bit about pro, but it's predominantly high school and college. And we'll flip back to the college side, and I'll get your take on Ole Miss and Alabama. We'll continue this discussion. We'll bounce back, talk some Auburn, LSU, and then some games from around the SEC coming up. There's other big games that are going to be on this coming up Saturday.
Well, it's a big weekend when Florida-Tennessee is relegated to the 8:30 kick on Bravo. They at 8:30 in the morning, that is. That's incredible that game's 11 o'clock on ESPN.
Well, I feel like that's what I felt like with Auburn in 2012. Every game kicked off before everybody got out of bed. So, I'm like, well, out west we don't see the games because we're already asleep.
Right.
Nobody saw Auburn in 2012 because we weren't up yet. So,
well, it's probably a good thing nobody saw them in 2012.
There's no doubt.
There's
some things
Alabama, Ole Miss, look, I think in terms of is probably the 2 best defenses in the conference and probably the 2 defenses that have the most NFL prospects on them right this minute. I think it is going to be a struggle. Brandy Ratliff talked about it. That defensively, Ole Miss is so much better than they have been. They haven't played the most arduous schedule, and you could make the case that Alabama hadn't either. The thing is, Alabama has experience in playing people and being in big games. I wrote about it today in the local fish wrapper, and I said, look, here's the one thing that Alabama may have going for them more than anything over Ole Miss in this particular game, is that the enormity of the moment may weigh very heavy on Ole Miss. I mean, you've got game day. Look, Brandy talked about it. Everybody's going nuts over there right now. I mean, the whole campus is crazy. They were partying before game day was coming into town. Now it's an all-out gala.
Yep.
So, look, I think that could be a bit of an issue. And the thing that happens a lot of times in situations like this is you're so built up, the players can come out tense.
Yeah.
And
the blackout game for Georgia. I mean, it's
classic
to me, that's
example.
what it seems like it's building up to be.
Because that year, Georgia, which is about like every year, Georgia thought they had a great shot at the national championship. They had A.J. Green, they had Matt Stafford.
Should have.
No Sean Marino.
Why wouldn't you have a good shot at it until you lay an egg like they do every year? Let's go to the phone lines. Jerome's on Sportz Blitz.
Hey, man, how y'all doing tonight?
We're good, Jerome.
Hey, I just want to comment our Wildcat, I know y'all into college and everything, but I just want to say, hey, our Wildcat looked good Friday night, and that's the first game I really made it to, but I'll be there this Friday night. The Wildcat takes home the Oxford, the Yellow Jacket.
That's right. Don't get stoned.
So I don't know what their record is, but I think if we come out there with the attitude, the way we played, I think we'll take care of business. And with that third quarter, it seemed like we just kind of a little bit died a little bit, but everything else looked good. I mean, the guy was throwing the ball just right, and every time Stanhope get a good play, then they had to call it back for holding or something like that. But hey, anyway, I'm ready for the Wildcats, and just waiting on this Friday night, and I hope we go all the way to the state, at least, part of the way anyway.
No, we want to go all the way, Jerome. We don't want to stop. It's kind of like getting in a car going to Disney World. I don't think my kids would be real happy if I stopped in Valdosta, Georgia.
Let's just get to the quarterfinals and call it a week.
Hey, but who won the thing? And I'm going to hang up. When y'all going to draw for the tickets, or did y'all do that on the other one, or did I win or did I lose? But anyway, I'm going to hang up and listen to y'all. Come on, go Wildcat and roll tide.
There you go. There's Jerome, and we appreciate Jerome. Been a staunch supporter of our show since day one. Jerome, Brian, two of our best callers, been on the show tonight. So one of the things that we're talking, look, I'll stop for a second talking about Alabama and Ole Miss and give props to Oxford and Benjamin Russell coming in. This coming up Friday. It's going to be a big game. Oxford 4-2, Benjamin Russell 5-1. Both of them were losses to Opelika, and Oxford also fell to Valley early in the season. So, but Oxford, obviously, Rock Thomas not being part of that team is pretty detrimental.
Yeah, I mean, that can certainly affect you. You lose a 5-star running back, that will do that sometimes.
No doubt about it. But we want to hear from you, 1-800-782-0108, 256-234-6464. Keys to the game for Alabama. Luke, what do they have to do to go to Oxford? Just show up? I think so.
No, I don't think it's just show up. I think you go there and look, attack Ole Miss's run defense. They specialize in getting pressure on the passer.
How do you feel about Alabama's running attack so far this year?
I'm really okay with it, and the reason I'm okay with it, a couple of reasons. First of all, T.J. Yeldon has not been 100%. People don't understand. They say at Florida he looked like he was tiptoeing. Well, because he was tiptoeing. He's got a hamstring issue right now, and it was debatable if he's even going to play
right now.
Look, Saban is known for not taking a chance. Saban thinks I can't really speak for Nick Saban, but it sure appears that Nick Saban looks at things like, I'd rather have a 75% starter and take a chance than put a backup in who I'm scared of. And I don't understand that thinking. I don't agree with him, but his way sure does seem to work pretty well. So I'm going to defer to Nick Saban on that particular topic. Having said that, Alabama's got a Derrick Henry. He looked great against Florida. He came into his own as the game wore on. And that game really played to his strengths of, I'm going to beat you up, I'm going to wear you down, and then you're not going to be able to tackle me later on in the game. And that's what I think Alabama's going to try and do against Ole Miss. I think they're going to try and establish more of the running game. They're going to mix Amari Cooper. They're going to move him around because you got to make sure that you can get the right matchup for him. And Ole Miss leads the SEC in interceptions with 9. Alabama's only got 2, and both of them came against Florida and Jeff Driscoll. So, Ole Miss is very good at forcing interceptions. Now, having said that, Ole Miss has played Memphis and Vandy and a bad Boise State team.
That's right. So that's why there hasn't been a lot of buzz about Ole Miss. They've been sitting up there in the top 15, and everybody kind of goes, oh, and Ole Miss is also ranked really high, and they're pretty good because nobody really knows what they are. But I think we saw a little bit, but you can't get caught up comparing from one game to the next. We've done that numerous times on this show, and it never works out. You can't look backwards. Ole Miss could have been overlooking Memphis. They could have been really concentrating. You don't know what goes on in practice. They may have been on cruise control. Same thing for Auburn against La Tech. I would like to think, as an Auburn fan, Auburn was real vanilla, and that Auburn really just hadn't brought out some of the other plays, because I know for a fact Auburn hasn't utilized their talent. They don't throw to C.J. Uzomah. They don't throw to some of these other receivers like Tony Stevens and Marcus Davis. We haven't seen Rock Thomas. We haven't seen Peyton Barber. To me, may be the better of the 3 running backs when you had Cameron Artis-Payne in there, and not to mention Corey Grant. Auburn has not shown any razzle-dazzle. It's been very vanilla. Maybe this is all Auburn has. We will find out over the next 4 weeks. You better pull it all out of the cupboard, because no sense to hold back now.
Well, and again, it goes back to chemistry, I think. You're right. Auburn hadn't been as razzle-dazzle, but they also had a heck of a fullback that they're missing more than anybody wants to admit in Jay Prosh. They're missing the number 2 pick in the NFL draft from last year at tackle.
They're missing a guard.
Whenever you needed 2 yards, hey, I'm going to run behind Greg Robinson and let Jay Prosh block for me, and I think I'll get him, and you could feel good. Now, Nick Marshall looks totally unsure of himself. All the talk and this is why you can never buy into summer talk, that all we heard all summer, Nick Marshall's accuracy has improved tenfold. It doesn't look like it to me. Now, a couple of times, too, I will get in his defense, he's thrown some balls that Sammy Coates has to lay out for. And Sammy Coates is probably not 100%, in his defense. But he didn't lay out. There was one in particular against Kansas State where, it was a little bit out there, but a great receiver makes that play. And I think Sammy Coates needs to lay out for that particular
Sammy
play.
Coates, if again, kind of like what you said with Nick Saban, maybe they feel like 80% of Sammy Coates is better than 100% of somebody else.
And look, they get to see practice every day.
They do. That's exactly right. They get to see what's going on. And I think you're right. My dad said at the end of last season, the player that we unequally will miss is Jay Prosh. You don't realize how great of a player he is. Auburn, Brandon Fultz right now not getting the job done. They moved Cameron Toney over from defense to try to get him in that H-back. Somebody's got to step up. H-back is a tremendous part of that offense, and if you don't have that extra blocker, this offense doesn't work.
Well, and see, here's the other problem. Jay Price was very unselfish. He wanted to block. That's what he was born to do.
That's right.
You put Brandon Fultz back there, he's used to catching passes. He's probably a little bit upset that he's in that particular role, and then you also take away a weapon from where he should be. So now you're moving Cameron Toney around, and that's usually the sign of trouble. Look, I've been there as an Alabama fan. It happens. You got to move some players around and see what you can do.
Well, find somebody that wants to block.
That's right.
You need to line everybody up and say, look, do you want to start? You can start right here. This is your role, though. It's not glamorous, but you are a key to us winning on offense. And then Alex Kozan, I think that just doesn't get talked about enough either. He was one of the best guards in the country. He goes down, an injury before the season starts, and he's not going to come back this year. So you deal with it. You move guys down. Auburn's got depth at offensive line, but he was a starter for a reason.
But we say things like, we throw out words, both of us, depth, like it's just plug and play.
And it's not. It's not depth.
It's not that way. You can have depth, but the guys that are playing for Alex Kozan, you're moving some people around, first of all.
That's right. Well, there was a reason he started.
And there's a reason he's starting. And when you have an injury along the offensive line, it can be devastating, because usually that's where your biggest drop-off is from one player to the next. Receiver, the next guy is as good as Amari Cooper, but after that, they're kind of interchangeable. Now, along the offensive line, those are usually the ones that have the biggest drop-off from first team to second team.
Well, and a lot of times, guys like Jay Prosh, guys like Alex Kozan, guys like Amari Cooper, make other players better because they draw so much attention that it gives opportunities for other players to make plays. You know, when you got the best tackle in the country in Greg Robinson over there, and you got Jay Prosh coming behind, more teams are going to be more concerned with that side of the offensive line. So it gives the opportunity to do other things on the other side of the offensive line.
Just like Nick Marshall, see, you used to really have to worry about Nick Marshall so much, about Trey Mason so much that Nick Marshall benefited from that. Well, Cameron Artis-Payne doesn't have the same step. He's not as good a running back, period, end of story. I don't care what the stats say.
That's why I think Peyton Barber may be a better back, and I don't know why he's not playing. There is a reason Gus Malzahn maybe he grasped the offense better. Maybe that's why he's on the field right now. A lot of times, maybe not the better athletes getting this playing time because he doesn't have the knowledge of the offense as good as the guy in front of him.
Or maybe Cameron Artis-Payne picks up blocks that the other two don't.
That's
do.
exactly right.
Maybe
there is a reason.
Yeah, there's something he does know, and it's not just all about how many yards anybody can get or what kind of burst they have. Sometimes it could be something as simple as picking up blocks. I can tell you, I know without a doubt, that's one of the reasons Kenyon Drake wouldn't get quite as much playing time earlier in his career because he didn't know where to pick up the blocks. And if you get your quarterback killed, I don't care if you can run 80 yards.
Well, it's not all flash. You got to do a little trash in there too. And if you don't want to get in there and get dirty, sometimes you go to the bench. But we're up against a break. We come back, we'll close the show out and kind of run down the slate of games outside of Auburn and Alabama. Some big games in the SEC and around the country when we come back. Stay tuned. More Sportz Blitz Live presented by JR's and SNS Tire right after this.
What is LMG? It's a team of professionals with the tools to create a successful marketing plan to help your business grow. LMG has successful designs that get results for the individual and the business. We provide signs of all types, screen printing and embroidery, promotional products, web design, audio and video production, and much more. LMG has 3 locations to serve you in Alex City, Dadeville, and the Auburn Opelika area. Call us at 888-533-6758.
Show Enough Barbecue. Since 1990, we've been serving you the finest barbecue in Alexander City. Gerald believes in cooking fresh meat daily, and the secret to that is, I'm not going to tell you. Show Enough is just not about barbecue, but also known for fresh vegetables and homemade pies. That's where I come in. I'm Linda Sanford, better known as the Pie Lady. We also do catering. For more information, give us a call at 234-7675.
Folks around these parts have known for a long time that Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is your #1 stop for automotive service and repair. At Walls Tire, you'll always find quality service at a fair price on everything from AC, name brand tires, big or small repairs, routine maintenance, towing, and more. When your car or truck needs to run right, there's one place in the area to go, conveniently located and easy to find. Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280.
When it comes to health care, Russell Medical Center has always been my choice. When my doctor recommended I have my procedure there, I knew it was the right decision. He knows the kind of expertise, quality, and care I've come to expect. When surgery was necessary, I knew I would be in good hands, and it felt comfortable being treated in a facility so close to home.
Russell Medical Center, your health, your community, your hospital.
Hey, Jerry. Nice yard. I bet this dead wood really hits home for you. The only thing getting trimmed around here are property values.
Does it ever feel like your yard work is taunting you?
Where you going? The nail salon's the other way.
Take back your yard with professional-grade equipment from Echo. Reliable, easy to use, and backed by a 5-year warranty. Echo. Get serious.
Get your SRN 225 trimmer at Satterfield's, Highway 280, Alexander City.
When you need plumbing service, call on the professionals at A&M Plumbing LLC.
For over 20 years, our mission has been to provide the best possible service available in the industry, and we specialize in solving difficult problems. We offer a wide range of services, such as installation, service, repair, and replacement of common fixtures, water heaters, toilets, faucets, drains, sewer lines, and septic tank pumping and cleaning services. Unlike many companies, our septic tank services include field line testing. Our knowledgeable staff will be happy to answer any of your questions. So call A&M Plumbing LLC today.
Welcome back to Sportz Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and SNS Discount Tire. A few minutes left in tonight's show, and let's dive into the schedule from around the country. And we'll start in the SEC, and then we'll go nationally. The game that a lot of people, it's two marquee names, but just not very much importance. Florida and Tennessee, but Tennessee has a chance to get a big win here.
This game went from Pick'em to Tennessee -2.5. Tennessee's going to be without Josh Malone, I think, their wide receiver. That he's a big player. But
what about the quarterback being a little bit?
But the good news for Tennessee is Florida will be with Jeff Driscoll. But, you know, I could see this one going either way. Tennessee's probably got a bit of a letdown coming off that Georgia game where they really had a chance to win. Georgia was about to go total Georgia, and somehow they were able to sneak out a win. Every now and again they forget they have the best running back that I've seen in years.
Yeah,
I mean, he's incredible. So, and then when they start handing the ball, good things happen. He had a fabulous game the other day. Then you've got Kentucky, South Carolina. Let me tell you, that game is deceptively good. That line started out at South Carolina 7. It's gone down to South Carolina 5.
That's right.
There's a reason for that. I don't know what it is. But this Kentucky team, everybody keeps giving Florida a lot of heck about going to overtime with them. Kentucky's going to beat somebody they shouldn't this year.
Could be this
weekend.
weekend.
It may start this weekend. In South Carolina, the wheels may start coming off because they really blew that game against Missouri.
Got to revert back to this past Saturday in Texas A&M, Arkansas. I would be remiss if I didn't bring up the tripping call. To me, Arkansas had the game taken away from them. To me, that was just a terrible call. It's on the backside. I'm not too sure he even meant to do it. Looked like he was falling down. It cost Arkansas the game. Now, I know it went to overtime. They had a chance to do what they had to do to win it in overtime. But, you know, I know they missed a field goal. Could have put them up 10 as well. But to me, that was such a huge play in that game. And Arkansas's close. Arkansas is a team to be reckoned with. I'm glad Auburn has them out of the way.
I agree with that.
And, you know, they're a team just like a Kentucky, but they're a lot better than Kentucky. That's going to beat somebody they're not supposed to. But with that being said, A&M has another tough test. They got to go to Starkville.
Yeah, that's going to be a really tough game for A&M. Mississippi State's had a week to prepare, and now they will be without Dylan Day, the guy who stepped on 2 LSU players. It was totally disgusting. I don't think he was suspended enough.
He needs to be gone.
He needs to. I mean, I agree. This isn't his first incident either.
He did it to Auburn last year. He got suspended for the second half.
I think he's got some issues.
He's got some problems.
I don't think he should be in the game. But having said that, that could be the difference in this game. I go back to that Arkansas game. Look, I never like to say the officials took something away. I always think there's opportunity in there for you.
I agree.
I think that
it was a horrible call.
It was a bad call. But you know what? Bad calls happen on both sides. Arkansas's got, if you want to turn the corner, you find a way to win that ball game. You had it won. You were doing everything. And then they go so unimaginative in the overtime and going straight up the middle on a play when you need 1.5 yards. And you, granted, you had been running all over them, but they were totally bunched in there. If you're Arkansas, maybe you take a chance on that particular play. I know hindsight's 20/20, but maybe that's when you do the play action, and it's probably wide open for a touchdown. Get some of that momentum back. Arkansas gave up a lot of yards late in that ball game. That's what cost them.
Maybe they find another position for their punter. He's pretty fast.
Oh yeah, he is pretty good. Well, look, Arkansas can run the football.
Everybody can. Yeah. Even the linemen. I think they line them up at running back.
And you know, they get Alabama next week after an off week. So that could be an interesting game when Alabama has to take on Ole Miss on the road this week. But then you've got several other games out there. You got Oklahoma taking on TCU.
Well, I want to say one more thing about Mississippi State and Texas A&M. I think Texas A&M can exploit Mississippi State in the secondary. They're not very good back there, and that's Texas A&M's. That's where they butter their bread.
That's right.
I think Mississippi State's a 2.5-point favorite. You get 3 points for being at home, which means really that Texas A&M's probably favored in this game. I think Texas A&M pulls it out. I do. I think that even though it's in Starkville, it's a morning game. It's an 11 o'clock game. So, I mean, Starkville's not a big stadium to begin with. So I think Texas A&M goes on the road to get it done. Let's start with Thursday night because a big game, Arizona and Oregon, 4-0 teams. Oregon barely beat Washington State.
They did, and this Arizona team's had some good fortune too. I think they had to score 30-some-odd points, 36 points maybe in the fourth quarter to beat Cal.
That's unheard of.
I mean, they had to do something ridiculous, and they did it on the Hail Mary. And Rich Rodriguez has that program going pretty well, but, again, I don't think they can hang with Oregon, so that's going to be a good game on Thursday, no doubt. You've got Nebraska taking on Michigan State.
Yeah.
Nebraska behind Amir Abdullah. I mean, every time I watch him, I'm just absolutely amazed.
That's right.
He should be up there in the Heisman talk with Amari Cooper and with Todd Gurley right now. I don't think there's any doubt about it. Those are, to me, the three. And Marcus Mariota, I guess,
yeah,
the
I mean,
four
you gotta
competitors.
keep him up there right now.
I just keep waiting for Oregon to drop that game that they're going to drop, and he's going to look bad, maybe against Stanford again. But so I'll drop him officially then. But for now, I'll put him on the periphery.
Oklahoma TCU.
Oklahoma TCU is going to be an interesting game. Of course, TCU is not the TCU of your older
undefeated
brother, but it's going to be one of those games that Oklahoma can't look past because TCU has gone into Oklahoma and won in the past.
Yeah. Kansas State, Texas Tech, I know a lot of Auburn fans will be interested to see. Oklahoma plays Kansas State next week. That'll be an interesting game for you UAB fans out there. Right now at 2-2, you got Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky's a 9.5-point favorite. Stanford and Notre Dame.
That's a game that has two big names, and it's a Stanford team that's got a loss already, and Notre Dame's undefeated. They're in the top 10. Lou Holtz loves them, of course.
Yeah.
But I go back to that Kansas State game I just saw where Texas Tech's going to start, I think, a true freshman at quarterback. Texas Tech does not look very good this year. I mean, I think they're going to get run out of the gym again.
I think you're right. Well, up against the end of the show, I do have to brag just a little bit. Our Cowboys team, our 9 and 10-year-old team, Brandon Foshee, Alexander Smith, the head coach, I'm an assistant. They won a big game tonight, 20-0 in a little league game. So I know for a lot of you out there, like, what the heck? But when your son starts playing football, you get a little proud.
Understand.
So you do get a little proud. But we've enjoyed it. We hope you have. We appreciate all of you watching and listening every Tuesday night. We'll be back with you next Tuesday. We enjoyed it. Hope you have. See you next time.
Auburn Urgent Care, located on South College in Auburn and on Enterprise Drive at Opelika near Tigertown, offers convenient solutions to your healthcare and occupational medicine needs. We offer workman's compensation injury care, and we have a certified DOT medical examiner on staff. It's not about speed, it's about the quality of care. We're open 7 days a week, 7:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday, and 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on weekends in Auburn, and 8:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday in Opelika. Walk-ins are welcome. Auburn Urgent Care. 334-821-3221 in Auburn or 334-749-9191 in Opelika. Visit us online at auburnurgentcare.com. Proud of our past, confident in our future. And for your primary health care needs, visit Family Health Clinic at 1456 Opelika Road in Auburn. 334-826-8951. Open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m.
It's always something. Your car needs a new tire, tuition is due. It's down to the wire. Cheerleading outfits, soccer shoes, football pads, or annual dues. Nellie's in band. She needs a trombone. Good golly Molly, you need a loan. Jimmy broke his arm. He needs a cast. You need money, and you need it fast. When life comes at you, Always Money can help you through. It's easy, convenient, friendly, and fast. You'll get the cash you need the day you need it. So because it's always something, remember Always Money. How much can we loan you today?
Hello? Yeah, man, I just picked some up. Wait a second. I think I see some cheaper ice. Hold on one moment. What's going on here?
Man, just get my ice at Twice Ice like I always do.
Well, look what I paid almost $3 for.
Man, you can get a 16-pound bag of ice or fill up your cooler with 20 pounds for $1.50. This is the only place to come.
Just pull up to one of our convenient locations in Alex City, Dadeville, Sylacauga, or Childersburg and fill up your cooler. Lowest price, convenience. That's what you get with twice the ice.
Tallapoosa Ford on Highway 280 in Alex City has delivered new Fords for 35 years. Need fuel efficiency with style? See the best selection of 13 Ford Fusions delivering 38 MPG in a new stylish package. Check out the Hybrid C Max crossover now on the lot, offering roomy comfort with an amazing 47 MPG, rating highway and city.
Hello, this is Jeff Smith with Tallapoosa Ford. I'd like to welcome you to our dealership and experience our low-pressure sales. With non-commissioned salespeople, our sales force is here to serve you.
Visit Tallapoosa Ford, Highway 280, Alex City. If we don't have it, we'll get it, guaranteed.